The Sonic Audio Workshop in cooperation with American Slider Studios brings you the Tim Blain Show.
All right, welcome in. This is the Tim Blain Show. I am Tim Blain, your host, and I am sitting here with Greg Martin.
Hello.
Of the Kentucky Headhunters.
So glad to be here.
Come down for this inaugural show. The Tim Blain Show is a show that features music. We feature adventure. We feature human interest.
Yeah.
Human interest stuff. So it's not just music. We
Food.
have food. Well, yeah, we're going to think about doing a cooking show. I was talking to somebody about that just yesterday.
I love food.
So all kinds of little things we can do that are not necessarily musically oriented, but we might play music while we cook.
Yeah.
That would be an interesting cooking show.
So if you know, we holding our instruments here. This is my security blanket, by the way. If I was just sitting up here by myself, I'd be like,
Yeah, and he got one,
But
so
we
I decided I had to have
Yeah, we
one.
might even play a tune here in a minute for you guys. It'd be spontaneity at its best, probably. Hope, right?
Well, that's, yeah. I mean, I've got some things written down, but I can't read them anyway. Cause
Hey, thank you for having me. It's a joy coming down here. It was surreal making the trip down to the Portland area because I made that trip for 8.5 years down to the Ronnie McDowell bus back in the day.
that was one of Greg's achievements. He played with Ronnie McDowell.
Wow.
And if people don't know who Ronnie McDowell is, look him up on the internet. He's a fantastic artist.
Good art, yeah, and just a good man. Just
Yeah, lives
good
up in
boss.
Portland, Tennessee, not far from here. We're out of White House, Tennessee. So you can look that up on the map too if you want to know where we're at.
Yeah.
So we also have I want to thank Nicholas Clark, who did the animations for us. The animations are wonderful. The claymation, fantastic stuff. Found him on the internet and I hooked up with him and said, "Hey man, I'd love to use your stuff." And he said, "Yeah." So this is really a lot like how we met back in the day, back in the '80s, when we with the Multi-Tracker magazine, and that's kind of what's going on here. Where everybody's just contributing, and that's what makes made that really organic and
Collaboration.
and this already has that same feel.
Yeah, you and I mean, we met, I'm thinking 86, 87, it was through.
Yeah, it was 86, I believe.
Yeah, 86, yeah, that was a very, very special year for South Central Kentucky and Bowling Green. The music was just amazing coming out of that town. And we had a little, at Mr. C's Coffee House.
Yeah, Mr. C's was a big hub of a lot of that activity.
It sure was.
I remember one night the Kentucky Headhunters, they were just the Headhunters at that time.
That's right.
Was playing and burning down Mr. C's and the cops came.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
Did they shut us down?
They came in that side door and they listened for a long time though.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but then they're like, "Ah, man, you sound great, but we got to shut you down."
Is Mr. C with us still?
Yeah, he hit me up on Facebook the other day.
Really?
Yeah, so he's still around.
And Mrs. C.
Now I don't know that he doesn't have the club anymore.
No, yeah.
And I don't know about Ms. C.
Haven't seen her in years. Yeah, that was special times. And met Tim. I think the Multi-Tracker used to go into the record bar. Was it called the record bar at that point? I guess. And,
We would put the Multi-Tracker in any place it would let us. And some places it wouldn't let us.
Tell them about the Multi-Tracker. It was.
Well, the Multi-Tracker was a magazine, a fanzine we put out back in, started in 1986.
Yeah.
And it was done on a Xerox copy machine, and it was literally a bunch of people collaborating and contributing articles, going to shows, doing events for that, and that's how we met. Greg got the magazine and got either email. Well, he wasn't emailed. I was say email. There was no email.
I written you or called you.
I think you called me.
Now you.
And you said, I remember now. Oh, you said, hey, I got this band. We've been playing in cover bands, which was, I guess, Ronnie McDowell.
Yeah,
and Sylvia.
Yeah.
And then we went up to the radio station in Mumfordville.
Yes.
and to see, and it was the Kentucky Headhunters, and they just blew us away. It was amazing, and no one had really ever heard you guys much at that point.
No, of course, Itchy Brother had a following, in South Central Kentucky back, from '72 onward,
Yeah.
and of course that we went through our little thing where we tried to get a record deal out of New York, and we're flirting with Swan. Well, we were actually courted by Swan Song Records, and then John Bonham passed away, and then that kind of disco reared its ugly head, and off to country music.
But those seeds pay dividends
Absolutely.
much later.
Everything works for a reason, and just seeing what you're doing here, I go, okay, even the Chitlin Show, we were doing so archaic back then. We were broadcasting live over a radio station. How many watts? It wasn't very many watts.
Was it 5,000?
WLOC, by the way.
Yeah, Joey Berry.
Joey Berry, God bless him, and Jeff Dennison, and there was some sponsors like Cindy Day and a few people.
Yeah.
Hair Unlimited, and
none of that would have happened.
Jim Berry, of course.
Yeah, without Joey Berry and the station and Jim and just all that creative energy came together all at once, and that
it was
that
just a
place.
special time, man. We were talking about that earlier. It was just there was a spirit hovering in the area, and it happens every so often. And when it happens, it's like riding the wind. You better get in there and ride with it. And there was a lot of really good bands. You had a band, four men jamming, four guys.
Yeah,
jamming.
four guys jamming.
Four men jamming.
Four men jamming.
Four men jamming. Yeah, it's,
four guys jamming, and then y'all took two of the songs we recorded.
That's right. Like New Money.
Like New Money and Diane.
Diane. That's
so,
right. Now, let me ask you this. There was two young ladies that worked with the multi-tracker way back. Wasn't there two girls?
Susan Morris worked with us. There was a couple girls who contributed, and I think they came up to one of the Chitlin shows.
Yeah.
Like
were they in a band or something?
I think so. But,
wild.
I think, actually, if I went through the archives of the multi-tracker, I could probably find what band they were in. But I need to. I've been threatening to archive that stuff, for years and years.
At some point you will want to, because it's a testament that what was going on.
That we were here.
That we were here. It's our monument, But the cool thing is that, Bowling Green goes through little spells where it gets very creative, then it'll die off for a bit. I guess a few years ago, Cage the Elephant and that scene, that was a whole different thing. Lee knows all about that. And Tid Balls is still going strong. But, back in the day, we didn't have the luxury of the internet or doing things like this, which is amazing. But I guess what I'm trying to say, it all goes back to that little studio at WLOC back in 1986, 87, when we had a vision, well, we can at least get this out there to whoever can hear. It was it's about like broadcasting over a CB radio, really.
Well, and one of the things that was that we did was, like in Bowling Green, would be here. Let's see if we can get this aerial up to get it in on the
exactly.
And
we were making some waves. People like Brian Locke was hip to what we were doing. And now, did you have something to do with the original home cooking?
I started. Brian and I started that a long time ago, and it went on.
That was D98.
About a year, I think. So. Yeah, D90. Yeah, it was D98.
Yeah, so
sure was. But it's the
I
same.
believe I remember
same exact place.
More coffee, please.
But it was fun. That was a great time.
Yeah.
But hey, let's play out and go to a break, and then have Lee Harvey come in and play a song for us.
You want to play maybe some Tiny Tim Does the Blues or something?
Well, if you know that one.
I'm just joking. I'll follow you, and I thank you for loaning me your fine. What is that?
That's a Red Knob Fender.
God, sounds great, man.
right, we'll be back in just a minute with Lee Harvey.
Oh, hey. You guys want to hear a joke? All right. What's a polar bear's favorite food? A burrito. Get it? Because it's called burrito.
I know about 4 chords and a capo, so I got
Those you know, 4 chords of the truth, baby.
a tune called Cadillac This Town. She said she don't love me, I'm a mangy dog. She gonna leave me, I live like a hog. She going out to find a big life. She find her a rich man, make her his wife. She didn't like living a honky-tonk man. Said she always hated to listen to a hillbilly band. I decided I'm going out on the town. I'll find some skirts and chase them around. I'm gonna get one drunk, shot and shot. Get in the back of my Buick, she'll get high. I think I forgot Miss Thing between the liquor and the loving done kill my pain. Well, good love and good bourbon, that's my way of life. I don't think you ever manage having a wife. Make my living with a hillbilly band. Me and the boys are gonna Cadillac this whole dang land. Wheels and old Hank Snow. I'm gonna grab me a girl and dance real slow. Count the bubbles in my beer. It's the best old time I had all this year. Put some quarters in and listen to Merle. Oh man, I done forgot about that old girl. Well, good love and good bourbon, that's my way of life. I don't think I ever manage having a wife. Make my living with a hillbilly band. Me and the boys are gonna Cadillac this whole dang land. Me and the boys are gonna Cadillac this whole dang land.
The Tim Blain Show is made possible by the Sonic Audio Workshop and contributions from viewers like you. Thank you.
Great. I'm pretty sure you're supposed to blow out the candles first. And I'm almost certain that is not your cake.
Oh, jeez. fur.
All right, we're back. All right. Good job, Lee Harvey. That was fantastic. Thank you so much.
Thank you for letting me sit in.
Wonderful.
That was fun.
Well, and Greg, yeah, it sounded great with it.
Thank
and
you.
We love our music. Love our music. So, speaking of music, you at one time in Louisville, Kentucky, where you're from, and we discovered we were both born at the same hospital.
St. Joseph Hospital,
Joseph
Eastern
Hospital.
Parkway,
Yep.
and of course, along with Artemis Powell.
Artemis Powell. Yeah. Okay.
Yep. Leonard
I
Skinner.
did not know that.
Yeah.
That was another Leonard Skinner connection.
That's right.
You played with Leonard Skinner.
For about 10 shows back in 1992, Ed King broke his finger, or got his finger broke. I don't know the story. There's rumors that maybe somebody helped him break it. And he called me one day. I was out in the yard mowing the yard. This is back when I had a fax machine and another little number in my music room. And I come back and it was Ed King. He said, "Greg, this is Ed King." And it was great hanging with you at the Dallas Guitar Show. And listen, man, we got some dates coming up. I broke my finger and I can't do it. Could you come out and play with us? So back then, did I really take his place? Lord, no, man. I had no clue what I was doing, really. But, being young and dumb and what's the word? I'm not going to say the word. Well, pea and vinegar, okay? And I just said, sure, I'll come down and do it. And then once I got down there, I'm going, oh, man, I don't play Stratocaster like he does. But it was a great experience, and I love those guys. They were very kind to me.
Everybody's, got their own signature they put on something.
Exactly, and that's what you learn as you get older, and one of the biggest mistakes when you're young, it's okay, man, to idolize Eric Clapton or Jeff Beck or John Prine or whoever you're wanting to channel, but as you get older, you finally realize that our Lord gave us a voice of our own, and that's what we do, and that's about all we'll ever do.
Yeah, amen.
And if you sound like somebody else, then you're really not doing your job,
Well, and I got Greg Martin here, played with Leonard Skinner in the studio, so we value that here at the studio. It's a wonderful, wonderful thing. So, but you also, when I was originally there was a great segue there, but I want to talk about the stereo shop where you managed up in Louisville during the day, because back in the day, stereo shops were, they were like record store plus. It's like it had a vibe to it, and I don't know that a lot of the people understand that didn't grow up in that era. Going in a stereo shop and it had that smell. There was a smell. It was
the incense.
That too, probably. The mixture of
could
incense.
have been some other things, from the back room. Who knows?
In the wood and the cabinets, and it just had that.
Well, growing up in Bowling Green, we had great stores. The headquarters. What else? Sergeant Pepper's, I think, was a little head shop for a little bit. But in Louisville, we had had a place called the Subway, but there was Karma Records out on Bardstown Road.
Yeah.
And it was the great record store. So, yeah, man, I grew up in an era, back in high school where 8 tracks reigned supreme. You had your Mini 8, and then you had your vinyl. And we would go in Metcalfe County, growing up, we didn't really have a hip record store. Well, Rice's Radio, Grant's, Star Discount, Gibson's Discount, and if you made it to Bowling Green. But if you're really cool, you'd go to Louisville, you go to the Subway or go to Karma Records, and you'd really hit those cool record stores. So after graduate, I was born in Louisville in 1953, which puts me at the age 69. I like to say with a bullet, but not an anchor yet. but anyway, I'm 69, and I feel like I'm doing okay, if I guess, for 69. But it was, I grew up during a great time in Louisville where AM radio was supreme. We had WKLO, WAKY, and we had great record stores and a great local scene. And then I moved to Metcalfe County and back up in 72. Initially, when I moved to Louisville in 72, I worked at a printing company, which I wasn't real crazy about, but it was just where I needed to be for a while. But in 1974, I was offered a job at P.I. Burke's, which was a big electronics wholesale store right off Broadway in Louisville, where putting in a satellite store out in Iroquois Manor. And they opened it in 72. In 74, somebody had quit, and they offered me the job because I needed a job desperately. And it was a great record store. We sold records. We sold Kenwood. We sold Pioneer, Sansui, Marantz, Hitachi, Sanyo, the lower lines. And records, cassettes, maybe a few cassettes, but a lot of 8-tracks. We also sold CB radios. Which we love both,
Oh yeah. The underground labyrinth here is not only a streaming broadcasting station, but we could hook into our CB radio station in the next room, which is just as important to us here.
Absolutely.
But CB radios are great.
CB radios were fun, especially if you get put some boots with it. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah, I got some boots.
I bet you do. I bet the neighbor's lights dim.
One time I was had my antenna. No, this is an aside here, guys, but on the ground basically, and I was running a terribly just an amp that was just. And I had a guy on the street here get on his CB radio and very politely say, "Hey, I love CB radios. I got one in my car here. My dad had a CB radio, but you're coming in on my television."
Yeah.
And I said, "Okay, I'll turn it off."
I hear you, man. Palomar made some nice little boots. So does I think.
I got some Palomars.
Yeah, they make some really nice boots.
The Texas Star and
back in
this is your consumer stuff.
Yeah, back in '74, I was working at. It was K-Rad Electronics, which was a subsidiary of P.I. Burke's. And that store really was not, it was selling a few stereos and things, and we had some CB radios sitting in the showcase, the little cases,
Mm-hmm.
but they never moved. And all of a sudden, the boom hit. About the time that C.W. McCall put out Convoy.
And Smoking the Bandit.
And all that. And then next thing you know, man, that store, we were moving, Cobras, Midland, I don't know what the other, Brownings, all kinds of different radios.
Yeah. Browning Eagles.
One of the things I discovered early on, there's a better way to do it now, but I took a Univox Echo, and I come out of the power mic. Who made the little power mics back in the day?
A static.
A static, okay.
Static, right.
Power mic. I'd come out the 2 leads out of that into this Echo, and then into the radio, and then I could key, and hey, and
that was a big deal back then.
It was a big deal.
It was a big deal in '74 to go, hey.
Yeah, I do things like that. you just didn't hear that. Now there's microphones.
They got an app for it.
Yeah.
And you go, hey, you got your hey app. Hey,
Yeah.
Somebody's going to do that, and make $1 million.
And I think, it's the FCC was in the parking lot one time. I saw a band with a few antennas, and I went.
They used to care. They don't care no more.
No, not anymore. No, man, back then. And I would get on there with I think, of course, my handle back then was guitar picker. But if I really wanted to stir up the dirt, I went under Brother Peace and Love. I'd say, "Hey, this is Brother Peace and Love coming at you, from the crib." And that would get, next thing you know, you'd key down, and then when you let up, you'd hear it sounded like a bunch of bees.
It'd be like,
"Shut
up, stupid."
Yeah, shut up, stupid, But I love CB radio. And you bestowed on me a few years ago a little Cobra, and I was going to use it in my band, but it ended up with Billy Gibbons. So you should be proud of that.
Yeah, I am proud of that.
Billy
Gibbons has a radio that I peeked into.
Yeah, man.
And we got somebody that's been in Leonard Skinner here in the room. So it's a great day, man.
I did play with Skinner for a bit. I was actually offered a job with Skinner in '94, but my brothers and the Headhunters, we'd been through a lot, and I said, you know what, I'm a Headhunter, and I appreciate you guys. I wasn't the right guy for that gig. They got the right guy. Mike Estes took the gig, and he was supposed to be there.
Well, more importantly, I have Greg Martin of the Kentucky
I'm
Headhunters.
glad to be here, man. So thank you, Tim.
All right. So, vintage. We have had discussions on vintage stereo equipment,
Sure.
And I guess you probably sold some of that up at P.I. Burke's.
Oh yeah, lots.
Do you have any of that vintage stuff now that you either
Yeah.
have collected or?
Well, I've got my original Pioneer SX 1250 that I bought in end of 1976. When you worked at P.I. Burke's, once a year you could buy employee discount through Pioneer Kenwood, and I saved up my money and bought a Pioneer 1250, which was 120 watts per channel, or I think it's more than that. And then I bought a CS99A speakers, Pioneer. Then originally I bought a BIC turntable, which for some reason I must have traded that and got something. I think I ended up getting a Pioneer turntable. But here's the story on that. In 1977, Richard Young and Fred Young called me and said, look, Tim Spex left the band, and it was the time it was supposed to happen. I had quit P.I. Burke's to go play music. I saw Led Zeppelin in the spring of, me and Richard both, in the spring of 77. I thought, okay, this is what I want to do. I want to go play music. And I went off, played music, and I was broke, you know. Richard called me one day and said, Tim's quit. And Anthony says he'll go back to bass if you'll come down and play guitar. So once I got down and started playing, I had to have a Marshall, and so I ended up selling that stereo. So I sold my stereo to Bill Wolf, God bless him, who just passed away last year. But when my brother passed away in 2013, Bill said, I got something I want to give you. And he took me to the trunk, and he gave me my old stereo receiver back.
Wow.
And his wife called me the other day and says, you can have the 99As too. So I've got to go get those, but I can't. I don't know how I'm going to get them out of the basement because I'm old. I used to pack that stuff up and down the steps. But yes, I've got it.
Well, that's
I still got
fantastic
some old
story, too.
Pioneers and old Kenwoods.
Yeah.
And
I've got my Pioneer from.
which one you got?
I got the SX780.
That's what you used at the Shetland show.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, sure did.
Yeah, yeah. That was
Yeah.
great times, man.
Yeah, a lot of great stuff. So, well, let's move on and talk about some of your equipment you got. You got a signature pedal that we're looking
Yeah,
at over here.
yeah.
And let's talk about it and tell us what it is, and let's listen to it a little bit.
Yeah, this is called the Cedar Flat Lightning Pedal, and Cedar Flats is a little community I grew up in Metcalfe County from 67 to 72. Chris Robertson from Blackstone Cherries from there, Alonzo and Oscar's from there, so there's something in the water there. My friend Jeff Bolin at Analog Pedals approached me about, he had done a signature pedal with Steve Jewell of who's now with Blackstone Cherry, but was with Otis at that point. He'd done something with he'd done something with Moonfrog at Otis, and we started brainstorming. I said, well, back during my Itchy Brother days, one of the things I loved doing was taking an old Echoplex and just using the Echoplex into that. Not so much for the echo. I turned the echo off. It was the preamp I was after. A little bit of bump in the gain. So this right here simulates an old solid state Echoplex preamp. So basically, let me show you. This amp actually sounds really good by itself. I think we'd all agree that's a pretty good tone. But when you kick this on, it gives a little bit more definition, a little bit more high end. Yeah, it gives it more bite, If this amp was cranked, I'd probably sing for days. So Jeff Bolin at Analog Pedals, which is easy to find out there on the internet,
And you said that particular one is already spoken for, and it's going.
This is going to Warren Haynes, actually.
There you go.
We got one to Steve Warner and Vince Gill. And if you look at these things, we could probably flash a picture up later. It's one of the knobs is a stank knob. And Vince said, he done a video, he said, Amy says, since I've got more stank in my life, our marriage is better. So,
All right, there you go. From Vince Gill's
Yeah.
to put the stank back in
and I
your
don't
life.
mean to be plugging everything, but these pickups in this guitar right here is they're made by a friend of mine, Sherman Stockton at Stockton Custom Shop, and we work together on some stuff. And we call them Hank the Plank. They're kind of copies of my '58 Les Paul pickups, and that's what that's all about.
Now, I saw a video online where you went to Gibson and they were presenting you with a guitar.
Yeah.
That is a Greg Martin signature Les Paul.
Did about 240 back in 2013, 2014. And Dave Rogers at Dave's Guitar Shop actually spearheaded that whole project with another gentleman. And I didn't think, it got to the point where I thought, I went down there and took the 58, which I'd gotten from Hank Jr. a few years ago. Took it down there and they did all the measurement, all the pictures, but nothing was happening. It was just kind of nothing going on with it. Then finally Rick Gimbar at the custom shop called me one day, said, "Hey Greg, we're back on your project. We got okay from Henry, who was the boss, the CEO, and we want your guitar back. Can you bring the guitar back down for a day and let's just update our files?" So we went down there and they were supposed to do 300. It was a program called the Collector's Choice, which they did guitars like the Peter Green guitar. They did Mick Rouse guitar from Bad Company. They did Paul Kossoff from Free, Michael Bloomfield, and different people. But what happened is they ended up doing a true vintage series, and so the Collector's Choice program kind of went south, and we got up to about 240. But this thing would have sold. This is not one of them, by the way. I've got 3 of my own guitars. This right here is just a regular 58 copy, but they did 240 of mine.
So how accurate was it?
Some of them are dead on. I mean, they're all great guitars. I've got one that's nothing like my 58. It does not look. It's got flame. As a matter of fact, it's up at the radio station now in Bowling Green, and my guy is working on it right now. But some of them are dead on. You could just put them up across the room. You couldn't tell the power. But every guitar has its own DNA, its own little thing,
Yeah, it's amazing.
The biggest component in your tone and your delivery, heart and hands, right here. That's it. Your hands. Take care of your hands. Take care of your head, too.
Comes from in here.
It sure
Make
does.
music.
Man. Channel it from up there, here, out here.
All right. Well, I guess we're gonna let Lee come up here for another one.
No, don't do that.
Let's play out.
Lee!
Let's play out and
Wake him up. Wake him up right now. I'm just joking, man. Wait, hey, I'll follow you wherever you go. I will follow you.
Lee Harvey up next.
The Tim Blain Show is made possible from contributions from viewers like you. Thank you.
That weird looking dog is eating our pizza. my window singing a song. Heart's on her bedpost, Lord, it won't be long. I pack my bags and go away. She used to say she loved me, now I'm not that sure. It's aching down in my heart, and Lord, there's no cure. Maybe all that whiskey, it would float away. I'm gonna hitch me a ride on the Georgia railway line. Yeah, I'll be back. I'm gonna take my time. Going out, Lord, the water flows like wine. Yeah, I forget I gave her this heart of mine. Out in the woodlands where I'm gonna hang my head. Get noise in the city, I'll forget all that. All God's creatures become my new friends. Fish for my dinner, sleep under stars, and then wake in the morning, I will begin a new way of life. Hope will never end. I'm gonna hitch me a ride on the Georgia railway line. I'll be back. I'm gonna take my time. Going now, old hole, the water flows like wine. I forget I gave her this heart of mine. I gave her this rusty heart of mine.
The Tim Blain Show will return after these messages.
Wow! Hey, look, this must be the internet.
It's all too.
Every day,
Okay.
yeah. Okay, we're on. All right, we're just talking about guitars and amps in here. Greg is, I think, trying to go home with my amp.
I'd like to, but
But that's a
I would never
compliment.
take a gentleman's amp.
That's a compliment.
Unless he wanted
Unless you gave it
me
to
to
him.
have it. No, no, actually, a Red Knob Twin is what we call it.
Red Knob Twin. Those, I think, were only made for a couple years. I think.
Right. Robin Ford loves those. I see why he likes them now.
There's a specialness to it. I heard stories of Eric Clapton really liked that kind of amp.
He did.
And
It was prayed over by many monks down in South America. Something like that. No. Just kidding, folks. I like
is
it.
it South America? I thought Canada.
It could be Canada.
Anyway.
It could be. Yeah.
All right, so let's talk about let's talk about the stuff that's happening now. That's what I got on my
Yeah.
list here. So
Yeah.
stuff that has happened was you made the Headhunters made their first Opry appearance back about 2 months ago, 3 months ago.
Well, going way back, you were very instrumental in the very early years. You and Joe Barry and your family and just a lot of people that really made that happen at the Chitlin Show. And that morphed into the Mercury years where we did Picking on Nashville, Electric Barnyard, Rayvon, all that stuff. And then, of course, you're a very big part of that. And we thank you. The band has been through some changes, a few changes here and there. As you know, Ricky left in 92. Anthony and Mark Orr joined in 92, and then they were there for a bit. Now it's back to the, it's back to the original lineup. When we started in 86, we started out as a quartet. Doug, Richard, Fred.
With Doug.
And so anyway, so we're back to that, and we've been touring, and whenever Anthony left, I can't remember the exact year, who we love Anthony and Ricky and all the guys that have been a part of it. But we're still out there doing it, and yes, you're back December 4th of last year. We were invited to do the Grand Ole Opry, and there was some controversy way back in the day about our hair and the way we looked, and evidently Roy Acuff had shunned it. I don't know if it's true. I always liked Mr. Acuff. He was nice to me when I was with McDowell, but we were offered sometime about 8 years ago, we were offered a chance to do the Opry, but they wouldn't let us use our amps or anything, and they wouldn't work with us, and we said, no, thank you. And then they came back and did, so it was a great night. It was a wonderful night. And so, we're still out there touring, same band, same four guys making the same crazy noise we started out with, and we released That's a Fact Jack back in October, which is 12 songs, 12 timeless songs that will change your life, and your cows will give more milk. And
oh yeah, and the Christmas song on there is timeless.
yeah.
It's let's all go fight.
Let's all get together and
Let's all
fight,
get
which
together
is
and fight.
Richard's unique look at Christmas in the South or anywhere.
I could say, yeah, I've seen that happen before in the South. So,
Of course.
and we all understand it living in the South. So
That's just the way it is. I mean, I grew up in a family that my mother was a identical twin, my Aunt Ruby and my mother Ruth. And it's funny, my wife Ruth and my mother Ruth, I had Ruth Ann as a cousin, but they'd all get together over the hot point stove, and the sisters, and they'd get arguing politics, religion, anything. And they would get fighting mad.
yeah, I remember just us, not going to those events anymore. And I was like, Mommy, how come we don't go to the family events
Well,
anymore?
my Uncle Carl got into a big argument with him up there, and he didn't show up for about 2 years. He was gone 2 years.
It happens, doesn't it?
It happens.
And that's what that song is all
It
about.
happens everywhere. Now, some of our neighbors up north maybe not won't admit it as much about that, but down south, that's the way
We're just not afraid to show it. That's
No,
what it
man,
is.
it's just all about getting together and fighting,
So y'all are touring still?
Yeah. Oh,
So
yeah.
you got a big schedule going on. How many dates do you have this summer, you think?
Well, gosh, where are we going this weekend? Well, I know we're leaving out Thursday night, and we're playing in Indiana on Friday, Saturday. We're in New Jersey. We're off on Monday. No, we're off on Sunday. Then we're in Lebanon, Virginia on Sunday. Then we're back home. Monday we're in Lebanon, Virginia. Sorry about that, guys. And
Gotta have that
we're
plugged in.
about, I don't know, maybe 70 dates this year. Which,
Wow.
I mean,
That's a lot.
for us, it's enough. That's enough.
And that most of that's probably taken place within that summer kind of period.
Yeah,
I
the
guess.
biggest part of the summer. Even though we started out pretty strong this year, as you know, go back to the pandemic of 2020. We didn't work but maybe like 10 shows. Our last official pre-pandemic show was at the Birchmere in Alexandria, Virginia. We were going home. We were going to be on like a 3-week break, and then all of a sudden the virus reared its head, and we're crawling out of the wreckage of 2020.
Oh, it's bad for everybody.
Yeah, but there's good things happen. When you say,
a lot of good stuff.
is this maybe this could be a part of the project that maybe come out of 2020? I bet you started.
Oh yeah, this was definitely give you more time to do it for sure.
Yeah, and that's kind of the way my basement. It was a wreck. It was an abyss. It was it was just a mess. You've been in my basement, right? Years ago?
No.
Never been to Electric Lazyland?
No, I need to come up there.
Have you ever been to Electric Lazyland? Well, you need to come, man, and expand your head.
I've seen the pictures. We got like millions of CDs behind.
Oh
you.
yeah. I'm a hoarder.
I'm looking forward to coming
and
up.
that. Yeah, I want you to come because I want you to come up and help Boone and I because you're way. I'm amazed at what you've done here.
Well, I appreciate
You know what
it.
you're doing. You and Dylan. Y'all done
Dylan is our director. We haven't talked about Dylan.
We're
yet.
Dylan for dollars.
Dylan Pauly is he is the director of our church's
I know that we talked.
broadcast.
Yeah.
So, and we did basically the same thing
You sent
there.
me some links for your
Right,
services.
for the services, right?
Yeah.
So,
and your father, right?
yep, my father was a preacher there,
That's
and it's,
And much love to your father and your mother.
yeah, they're still going strong. They're living in Portland, Tennessee. So
That's great, man.
yeah.
Ronnie McDowell.
yeah, I see him up at the restaurant occasionally. We're one on that.
Yeah.
So you got the lowdown hoedown.
I do the lowdown hoedown. Officially it's been 22 and a half years. It started, as you remember. Well, really, if you want to go way back, Blue Monday up at WLOC, it started out as that. And then when the Headhunters hit, I had to take a break.
I remember
But then I
Blue
started
Mondays.
the lowdown hoedown at the Big Dog, WVLC, in November of 1997. I was there till April 2000. And about 2.5 years. My engineer quit, and I didn't think I could run the thing by myself, which I've learned I can. And then I took a break. And then Brian Locke at D93, who we love dearly, champion of local music and musicians, he offered me a spot at D93. And so let me think about this. It was 2001 of November. I started doing it there, and I've been there ever since.
Yeah,
Every
that's
Monday night
fantastic.
from 7 to 10. And you can tune in on terrestrial radio in South Central Kentucky 93.3. But now, if you want to listen online, go to WDNSFM.com or D93Rocks.com.
Yeah, it's got an app and everything.
Got an app.
This is the modern stuff we're talking about. It
Yes.
used to be you could be out. I want to hear the lowdown hoedown.
That's the only app we had back in the day was a transistor radio.
I'm
Right?
out with a wire on the roof.
Exactly.
It's dangerous. Dangerous. You don't want to get on the roof with a wire in the middle of the night.
No.
It's cause some trouble. So, what about Rufus Huff?
Well, Rufus Huff was a really fun band. That I'm not even sure what year that come together. I'm guessing 2005. We started putting the genesis of that together. It was Dean, Chris Hardesty, and Jared England, and it ended up recording an album that was released on a label, Zoho Roots, in 2009, and it was a good little band.
Is that available on iTunes?
It should be.
Should be.
Yeah, and
Yeah, Rufus Huff.
go ahead and
look it
get
up.
one.
Good
'Cause
stuff.
y'all buy the copies because we're gonna have to go talk to Mr. Yokin at Zoho about paying up some royalties.
And the Mighty Jeremiahs.
Jeremiah's, that came out
I love that
sometime about
record.
the same time, a little bit before that. That was with Jimmy Hall.
Yeah, that is a guitar. I mean, it's a kind of. It's hard to describe it to people because it's sort of a gospel. It has a sort of
It's a gospel.
record, but it's really. I mean, if you listen to the guitar, it's a guitar workshop. I mean, Jimmy Hall sounds fantastic. The songs are great. Go get the record. Go download it.
Thank you.
Download it. Mighty Jeremiah's.
Actually, right now, I hate to say this, Tim, it's out of print, and I'm working on that. There's 3 things I want to get
Get it anyway.
back in our fine. You can find a copy, and we'll get more copies in print. I was talking to the CD manufacturing company, but they're way behind right now. But there's 3 projects I want to get back into the family. The Rufus Huff, get that back from that company, so me and Jared and Chris and Dean can kind of oversee that. And there's some live tracks laying around that we could add to it and do a bonus type CD. And then get the Mighty Jeremiahs back out there. And there was another project I did with Johnny McGee and Dean Smith, Martin Smith McGee. That's just laying around right now too.
Well, you know what would be great is if you get Rufus Huff down here
Well, you
on the
never
Tim
know.
Blain Show.
You never know.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and put that out there.
You know, the deal is right now, maybe later on, I've got to double check on Brother Chris, make sure that Chris can, Chris had some health issues a few years ago, and I don't know if he gets out as much.
Yeah, well,
but he's an integral part of that whole thing, man, the sound. So
definitely.
Got to have Brother Chris or Jared or Dean, it's
Well, yeah, it's a group project. Well, hopefully plans will align and you guys will get to do it again.
We'll get together and do a little bit here and there.
That'd be a wonderful thing.
Yeah,
Wonderful thing.
Thank you, buddy.
Well, I guess we need to start wrapping this up and take.
Wrap it up. We'll take it.
Lee Harvey will play our next song.
Lee Harvey.
Lee Harvey once again.
What are you gonna do, Lee?
Big Boss Man.
Big Boss Man.
Yeah, come on in. Let's do.
I'm just kidding, folks. I've known Lee.
We had
for,
this. We
me
had
and Lee
this
go
worked
back
out.
a minute.
This
go
is
back when Moses
behind
just
the scenes
knew how
work
to.
here.
Yeah. Thank you for having me, guys.
Man, thank you so much for coming down. And Lee, thank you for coming down.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Lee, it's good seeing you again, man.
I'm gonna fanboy out and say that when Picking on Nashville came out, I met Richard at Rivergate Mall.
Yeah.
And I've looked up to you guys since I was 14 years old, and just to get to hang out.
Thank you, man. We're very blessed to do what we love, and we love what we do. And the traveling does get a little harder on your bones, but the payoff is at the end of the night. I mean, number one, playing for people, and then at the end of the night on the bus, just having a little fellowship with the guys and laughing at each other and just picking at each other. And Fred stirring the stew, so to speak, But we still have fun with it.
I think
It's up to the good Lord. We'll see how far it goes.
I want to see that. Let me see that CD cover there. I want to talk about an upcoming guest I got. Zach Godwin is going to be coming on, and he is a fella who makes CDs, musical CDs. But this one is very special because he went to Peru and some other places where they have megalithic.
So he's a
structures.
CD manufacturer? Is that
No,
what
he puts music on the CDs.
Oh, I got you. So I was thinking Mighty Jeremiah.
I may have said it wrong, but anyway, I mean, it might have come out, might sound like Kentucky speak. But
that's okay.
So anyway, so he made this, and what it's about is his inspiration he got from seeing these megalithic structures and stuff. So he's going to be on the show, and we're going to talk about that. And he actually put it on vinyl too. If you want to hold that up and show people,
it's just too cool.
And this is available on Apple. So it's Zach Godwin, and that's with a K, Z-A-K, Godwin, Godwin. But it's Mound Builders, if you want to check that out.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, it's really cool.
That's very cool. Isn't it great that vinyl's back?
Isn't it? It is wonderful. It is wonderful. Hey, I think we're going to go to a break first, and then we'll come back. So, Dylan, if you want to kick us on to the break, and let us know when we're back.
The Tim Blain Show is made possible from contributions from viewers like you. Thank you.
This chair, I built it with my own bare hands.
Okay, we're live. All right, so Lee, if you want to go ahead and play us out.
All right. Big boss man, can't you hear me when I call? Big boss man, can't you hear me when I call? Well, you ain't so boss man, working around the clock. I wanna drink the whiskey, you won't let me stop, big boss man. Can't you hear me when I call? Well, you ain't so big, you just tall, that's just about all. Boss man, won't let him treat me right. I go to work in the morning, I get stoned every night, big boss man. Can't you hear me when I call? Well, you ain't so big, you just tall, that's just about all. Can't you hear me when I call? Well, you ain't so big, you just tall, that's all. Yeah, you ain't so big, you just tall, that's just about all.
Good night, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. We appreciate all the love. Tune in again. Like, subscribe, and share.